Recording. So I am now recording DT300, where we're talking about, and let me see if I've got that going over here in, I think in Discord, you guys are able to see me. My Discord pane is really small right now. Let me make that bigger for a sec. No, I need to share my screen in Discord. Okay, there we go. So I've got Discord running, I'm recording, and I've got Google Meet running, and this is right. Okay, so welcome to Design 300. We are going to repeat this on Thursday because some people were at the Google Meet this morning and doing some other stuff. So we're going to talk about modules and estimating and things like that. So here we go. I'm going to look at this, wall modules. And do I have a Jamboard on here? Let me call up my Jamboards because I'm going to need to do a Jamboard. I thought I made one, but it doesn't look like I made a Jamboard, so I'm going to bring one up. So there's a Jamboard for me to work on in a minute. So when we talk about construction and the construction process and all that kind of stuff, one of the main things is cost. So it's great to have a construction project, but if you don't know what the material is and you don't know how to estimate the cost and you don't know how to buy the stuff, it's gonna fall apart. So quick estimates are really, really important. And we use estimates to also look at how efficient and effective a design is. So material takeoff means looking at the drawings and taking off all the material information and creating an estimate uses the material takeoff. So a material takeoff is a list of all the materials and exactly what you need on a project. This is where your, description, this is a window, it's this size, I got 20 of them, and here's the master format spec. That's all part of the material takeoff. And then somebody's going to use that information to estimate a cost. And they do that so they can prepare a bid. Okay, the architect or the owner is going to go, okay, I got this cool design. I need somebody to give me a bid so I know that I can get a loan and I got enough money and I'm not going to pay too much and it's going to be built right. So the contractor is going to prepare a bid. Now, often they want just a quick estimate to see if you're even in the ballpark. And you're not going to do all of your purchasing materials and all this kind of stuff. But you can imagine if you're a contractor and you spend 40 hours doing a bid and you don't get it, you just lost 40 hours of time that you didn't get paid for. It's a bummer. And architects go through this all the time. Architects are in the same way. They go through and they make this beautiful set of plans and they're up against 3 other architects and you don't get it. You're not selected. And it's a bummer. It actually really hurts when you don't get that job. So you come up with ways of doing estimates that are going to be pretty darn close. They're going to be close. And they're going to get you right in there. And the better you are at estimating, the better you are at getting the job. Or knowing that, well, I don't want that job. So we use modules to estimate sometimes. A module is just that. It's a chunk of the design. So if you're doing a wall module, it's some section of wall that I'll use over and over and over again. Because a wall is pretty much a wall. And you're going to build that wall pretty much the same way all the time. If it's a wood frame stucco wall with R13 on it, it's a wood frame stucco wall with R13 on it. And if I have a concept that says, well, I can size out maybe an 8-foot by 8-foot chunk of that wall, then if I'm going to need 64 feet of it, I'm going to need eight of those modules. Or if I need 800 feet, I'm going to need 100 of those modules. Or if I'm only going to need 24 feet, I'll need 3 of those modules. So you just make a module and then figure out how many of those modules are you going to use. And then you can spend your time really figuring it out well once and then just multiplying it out. And you can use a spreadsheet for that. Okay? And then you can look at the architect's design and very quickly and easily go, okay, they've got flashing, they've got seal on the bottom, they've got select fur, they've got a double top plate, they've got, and you can size the wall for an 8-foot by 8-foot wall module. Okay? And same with windows. It's and you can do a few things with that. We're only going to be doing the materials. We're going to do the materials. Okay? A contractor would also estimate the labor. But we're doing SOS, start out simple. Okay? We're just going to do the materials. And for your portfolio, you're only going to do a window module. Okay? So we're going to talk about what's in each of these modules, but this is pretty much a wall. A wall has framing, it's got windows, and it's got doors. That's mostly it. That's mostly it for a wall. There's not many other parts of a wall. Now, we could do the exterior fascia and the interior fascia and all this kind of stuff. But for our work, we're just going to do this. So let's take a look and see what a wall module might look. There's a wall module. So I'm just going to snip that and put it on the Jamboard. And we're just going to take a look at it. Come on, little Jamboard. There we go. So you can see this is an 8-foot by 8-foot piece of wall. Now, is this standard framing or advanced framing? Somebody tell me. Standard frame or advanced frame? Yep, that one's standard. How can you tell?
Standard.
Yep, 16-inch on center, right? How far is it on center for advanced frame?
Isn't it 18 and 24?
24. Yeah, mostly 24. Okay? And so this is important. The architect is just going to call out on their drawings advanced frame or standard frame. So this is a standard frame. Single top plate and sill plate. And they're saying it's select. These are stud. Okay, I get it. And what are they going to do? They're going to nail into each one of these. So I'm going to have 2 pieces of select and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of stud. And each piece is going to be about 8 foot long. Right? I can size them out separately. And I'm going to have some nails. But then I'm also going to have probably some fiberglass batting in here or something for insulation. And on this front, there's going to be probably some more foam insulation. And then there's going to be some Tyvek wrapping that wraps this all up. And underneath, there's going to be a blob of sealant, and there's going to be a piece of flashing. And you know all that because you've watched the tutorials. Okay? Cool. So we have Athena, Nick. Yeah, everybody's saying 24-inch. That's right. So I'm going to have this wall module. And so I know that there's a sill plate, a top plate, there's studs, there's insulation. And let's see, how many feet of insulation do I need? 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 8 feet. Oh, 6 times 8 is 48. So I need 48 feet of batting in each one of these wall modules. How much Tyvek wrap do I need? Well, it just needs to wrap this 8 feet. I know it comes in a big old roll. How much sealant? Well, a tube, if I look at it, does 12 feet. We're going to do that in a minute. And that's 8 feet. So I'm going to use 8 out of the 12 that it can do. 8 out of the 12. So that's 3/4 of a tube. And how many fasteners? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 6, 28. So about 30. Now, I don't have any blocking. If my module showed wall blocking, I'd have to add them in. I'd have to have some more, and it would. So I've got enough information to do this wall module and figure it out. Now let's just look and see. I got to cost this thing out. So here we go. Oh, look at that. It's Home Depot. How cool. So I have to look at this. This is 25 feet long and 15 wide. I need 48 feet, which is almost 50. How many rolls do I need, folks? 2. Nick says 2. Yep. This is arithmetic that you're supposed to know already. If you don't know how I figured that out, you need to come to office hours someday and we'll get you going on some of this. Okay? But if it comes in 25 and I need about 50, 2 of them will fill up my need. That's why I write this down. I can go back. How much do I need? And I just had to look at the picture. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. The batting goes in between these. And I know you know that because you've watched the tutorials. 48. Which is about how much? 50. So I need 2 rolls of this. So it's going to cost me $32 a piece. Now, if I'm good at estimating, I'll count up how many wall segments I need and see if I can buy 20 of them. Because I get a big savings. We're not doing that. We're just looking at this. Okay, wrap. 8 feet needed. And a 100 foot cost me 62, 69, 70. So how much of that? I need 8 feet out of 100. 8 out of is the divide sign 100. Okay, so I need 0.08. I need 8 out of 100 times, I'm going to call it 69.28. It's going to cost me $5.54 for each little segment of that. To do this much, I'm going to need about $5 worth. Now, I know I have to buy a whole roll, but this much of it is going to cost me a little over $5. Sealant. Now, where did I find how much I can get out of one of these tubes? So that's the first thing I got to find. Are you on it yet, Nick? See? Oh, if I get down far enough, I get specifications. 15 inch is the width of the roll, so it fits in between the studs. Okay? And so that's actually how it works. The gap is 15 inches because the studs take up some of the space. So Eric asks, is the 15-inch an issue with the 16-inch spacing? How does that work? It actually is sized exactly to fit in there. So if I look at the specifications, coverage, linear feet, about 12 feet. This is one of those reasons why I'm saying you have to be good at looking up specifications and dealing with specs. You got to get in there and dig in. So about 12 feet. See, how am I going to figure out how much that costs? Well, 12 tubes is 100. So $100 per 12 tubes. Each tube costs 8.33. And if I'm going to use 3/4 of that, of means times 0.75, it's going to be about $6.25 to lay down. Sorry, my mouse isn't working. To lay down that much sealant on the underside right there. And fasteners, so you see how you just look at each one and you figure it out. Oh man, I get 1,000 in a box and I need 30. I need 30 of 1,000 times the cost for 1,000. Okay, let's see if I can do that. 30 of 1,000. 30 divided by 1,000, 0.03 times 26.98. 80 cents. So it's going to cost me 80 cents. So I had to add all those up to get the cost for one wall module. And then if I had 16 feet of wall, I'd use 2 modules, 2 times that cost. If I had 24 foot of wall, I'd use 3 modules, 3 times that cost. Okay? So it's the same way that you would do this for each of these. Except now I have flashing. And I'm telling you there's going to be about 10 foot per window as an estimate. And about 12 foot of sealant. And about this and this. So every time you're going to put a window in, it's going to cost you about that much. And you have to know how much the window costs. But then you have to add this other stuff, material. And it's the same way with the door. You see, it's about the same, but I'm adding more flashing. So your job is to find out the cost for each module. And then for this floor plan, oh, let me do the PDF of it. For your floor plan, figure out how many wall modules you're going to use. So let's see how to do that. Okay, everybody doing okay with that? Everybody doing okay with the fact that you make a module, which is a segment, find the cost for the segment, and then figure out how many segments you're going to use in your design. So that's a segment is essentially a module. And I just bought a Wacom so that I can do this better. I haven't done it yet. And you're going to get cost per module. Count how many modules. Total. Is the number times the dollars. There. Cost per module. Each module. There. That's how you figure it out. I know I'm writing sloppy, but I'm writing with my mouse. Okay, so let's see if we can see what it looks like on a nice spreadsheet. This is what you would want to do professionally. And you can make a copy of this and use it yourself. Oh, hold on a sec. I just dropped my mic. There we go. So you can make a copy of this. So I just did the module has sill plates and studs and so you want to know how many sill plates there's going to be and how much they cost. Nick, off the top of your head, do you have a cost? Is it going to be like $3.95 or $6.50 for a select 2x6? It's so great we got Nick here because, oh, it's $7 now. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's $7 for a sill plate, and the top plate's going to be the same thing. And how many studs were there? Let's go back and look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to have 7 studs. How much is a stud now? We can go look it up, but I got Nick here to just tell me. So this will just be a framing stud. So Doug Fir, probably number 2, $5. Wow. Okay. So you're just going to go through here and see how it's adding it up for me. Isn't that cool? And you can put your comments, and even better, to put the link. What did we say? We needed 2 of these. Let's go find that one. Owen Corning. Watch. I can copy that, and I can put that link right on there. This is how a professional is going to do it. So somebody can, 3248. And you just start building it up as you go. Oh my gosh, a 2x6 is $9.33. Well, I'm going to have to stop calling them Home Cheapo. I'm going to have to make up a new name for them. Darn. Okay. That's why you got to keep up on this stuff. And you guys, that's why you don't just, you run an estimate every time. Oh, yeah. Oh, I bet. Oh, got it. Got it. Nick is saying the fires and delivery drivers are on strike. Spike the lumber prices. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. So that makes a lot of sense. So you always have to keep this stuff in mind, and you have to look at quotes and how long they last and all that other kind of stuff. Okay. So you're going to do this same thing, fill this out, and you're going to do it for the window module. I'm not going to do it for you. I just did this part. I'm not going to do the window module for you. And I'm going to erase this pretty soon. Okay? So that's how you'll do it. And a good estimate is going to have more stuff that you can figure out pretty quickly. Okay? Does that make some sense? Now, once you've got the module, this is for each module, your total building will be done down here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So you can see that so far I'm up to about 114. So let's take a look. I've got 24 feet in this direction. So I'm gonna start counting it up now. I'm gonna clear this. I've got 7 plus 17, 7 foot of wall plus 17. Along the back, I've got 36. Down this other edge, I've got 14. Then I've got 9. That doesn't sound right. And then I've got 36. Oh, I did something wrong. So I've got 24 plus 36 plus 24 plus 36. I've essentially got 120 foot of wall. How many modules is that going to be? I have to divide it, right? 15. I have 15 of those wall modules. $1,700 for my wall material. Correct. So we don't subtract because, anybody here a framer? Do we have anybody online who is a framer? Because otherwise I'm going to say how you do it instead of got caught up saying something wrong. No, I do not. So look, they're not going to cut the little pieces. You know what they do? They frame that whole wall. Bang, 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 bang. And then a guy comes in, measures it out, and he cuts a hole. You have used the framing material. And then they just throw away no, they don't throw away the wood, right? Because now we have to do things like recycle and all that kind of stuff. Okay, but literally, the framers go and they just make that wall. Wah! And then they cut holes for the doors. Yeah, take away. Yeah, got it. Okay, so there's going to be 15 walls. And then I'm going to look at this and look at how many windows. I've got 11 windows. Excuse me. So I'll put down 11 windows. Of course, I haven't got any cost. Let's say I've each window. What's a reasonable window? I'm going to guess a reasonable window is for a double hung, that might go on here, maybe $245. I don't know. Maybe somewhere around there. And the doors, I think, how many doors do I have? This is why we use these schedules. I got just one door? What's going on there? Oh, two doors. Two doors. Now, I could split these apart because one is fancier than the other, but I'm just going to put two doors down. And maybe I've got one door for each one, and maybe a door is $300 averages. So, man, I got $5,000 in material on this thing, which is not really a lot. But if I want to know, do you guys know how they check out whether you've got a good, efficient, easy to build design that's going to be like really economical? They do cost of material per square foot of the floor. That's why they put this square foot thing on here. If this had a whole bunch of nooks and crannies and weird things cut in and cut out, I'd have a lot of wall per square foot. This is not going to have a lot of wall per square foot. So if I type how many square feet, this is $7.50 per square foot. Anybody got an idea if you're buying a new single-family residence, how much per square foot you're going to pay these days? Somewhere between 150 and 200. 110? Well, you probably needed to come to our redlining. No. So it could be. It always depends on where you are and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, okay, so Nick was again. So Eric says, do I know typical percentage above the cost of material to run a business and pay for labor and all that kind of stuff? General question, no worry. 100 to 350 depending on what state you're in. Yeah, and so around here in Sacramento, you're going to pay 150 to 250 per square foot. And so that's why people like to make big houses, by the way. You get a lot per square foot. So Eric's question about the cost for labor and all that kind of stuff, it really depends so much. There's so many things. That's why I'm keeping it very simple. But you would do the same type of thing. But you would also factor in how many of these are you doing this in a development where your framer just comes in and just bangs out 45 of them and leaves? Or do they have to travel to the site and get there and set up and go in and just put up one building and get lost? Or right? So there are way, way, way too many concepts in between there as to what has to happen. And we're not even counting having the plumber come in now and put their plumbing in the walls, have the electrician come in, put the electrical in the walls. So this is just how you do the concept of a module. And this is what's interesting in design. Everyone is different. And so if this was all totally automated, none of you would be getting trained to work. You'd be getting trained to watch machines work. Okay, so now machine learning is creeping in there, man. And you're going to see we're going to be training you more and more and more on how to feed this information to the machine. But we want you to know where that information came from. So I'm going to delete all this information now because you're going to need to get a clean copy. But what you're supposed to do for your portfolio is essentially take this information here and use it in your portfolio. I'd like you to do the whole thing. I'd like you to have links to this type of information so that somebody can get to it pretty quick. You would normally have at your business, if it's you've already, got your book of links all together. If it's a business, it's the same way. You have what's called a library, and you go to that library, and these links are there. And they're to your supplier. Maybe your Home Depot, Lowe's, Granger's, Ace Hardware, Hibbert Lumber. There's fastener.com online. So wherever you happen to source stuff that you're familiar with that you can call up really quick, you'll feed those new numbers in and get your estimate very, very quickly. And the better your estimate, the better it is. So the more you know about your design, the better it is. Okay? Now, you might run into somebody that we call Backcharge Charlie. And we just say Charlie because it sounds like charge. Backcharge Charlie. What Backcharge Charlie does is they look at the designer's drawing, and if it wasn't super clear that it needed sealant, it just said, to use some vapor barrier, they're going to put in the cheapest thing. And when they do their submittal, they're going to get told, oh, no, you got to have sealant. And then since it's afterwards, they can charge whatever price they want. They don't have to go on a low bid for sealant. They put a high bid in for sealant. Or if the window was sort of specified, but there wasn't a good picture of it that said what they wanted and all that kind of stuff, and they put in a really low bid, and they put in like a link to what they say is equivalent, and it got accepted, and it's really crummy, then to make that change, they'll back charge for a higher value one. So you want your bids to be very, very clear, to be exactly what you've got, but you should know that you might lose out to Backcharge Charlie, who just does some cheapo bid. I just had a bid for a fence, and there was a guy who bid us 80 feet, another 72 feet, and another one that was 52 feet. And I couldn't figure out where the 52 was coming from, but it said, but we might not be able to hook onto your remaining existing fence, so we're going to keep going more. And so when I looked at their per foot charge, their actual charge was very low, but their per foot charge was the highest. And we knew that they were going to keep extending, and they didn't even have a limit. So we didn't go with them, okay, because we knew that they were going to back charge us. We actually went with the one that gave us the highest dollar quote, but the lowest per foot quote, with the best service on it. So quotes are all interesting. People put them out in different ways. This is one of the things for you to get good at. So for this class, though, we're only looking at, for your portfolio, the window module. But I would think you'd want to get good at this. Find a bunch of floor plans and just do them. Find your, this is cool because we've got the schedules already. Okay, any questions on that? Pretty straightforward. But if you haven't done this before, this could be a little bit of a reach. Okay, so I don't see any questions on that. Let's talk about some things. This is such a simplistic module that you really would like to see some wall details. So let's just look some up. No. Here's a cool one. I usually go to open the image in a new tab. I can usually see it. So look, this shows a lot of cool stuff. So it's got, what kind of veneer to use. There's some masonry. There's some through wall flashing. That's really an important note right there. So that's this tiny little lip right here. I'm not sure I can see that tiny little lip? The thing comes down all the way down into here and over to here to the weep hole with a slope to. So this is really a typical detail that you might see. Okay, and this has, the veneer and all sorts of, a header on it, more kind of stuff. Kind of hard to see the details on that one really well. So it's fun. I mean, this is what I do for fun, you guys. I go and look at stuff. Oh, look at all that stuff. A wall isolation detail. That one's even more impressive. Allows the wall and the deck to move independently. Why would they need to move independently? Well, they need to move independently just for plain old settling, which you know about, an earthquake, and just different loads applying. So this, look at how complex it gets to keep water out. All of this is to keep water out of the interior. So that's kind of a fancy one. Keep water out of the interior. Keep water out of the interior. Right there. Okay, so there's a lot that you'll find on here, and so you may have to do more work. This is like so simple. Oops, where did it go? This is such an incredibly simple model. Please don't, earthquake. Both Isaac and Eric have noted earthquake. Please don't take the idea that this is a fully well-developed designed one. There's no place for plumbing to run, for electrical to run. It doesn't show the fiberglass batting. It doesn't show blocking that keeps the thing from tipping kind of into a trapezoid. So there's a lot of stuff that's not on here, but it gives you a good idea. Okay, so there we go. That's what I wanted to go over. And standard cost to accompany standard max cost design. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you right now that max design, I'm going to set that at $10 per square foot. And I'm not sure whether yours will go over that or not. Oh, that's just for a window. So I do want this in. So you are going to have to do the whole thing because I want you to show this, but I want you to tell me this. Okay? Any questions? Okay, then I'm going to turn off the recording and I'm going to exit the meets. I'll be back on for office hours in just a little bit. Probably not quite at 12, probably just a little bit after. And away we go. So keep up the good works, folks. You're doing good stuff.